How have you got on this week?
Better this week.
Oh,
Yeah, not so many ups and downs, but I think I'm a art adrenaline style junkie. You know, people like to parachute jump and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
I've definitely got that with. If I do an art style, I think, oh God, yes, yes, I love it, I love it. But then the next day I come down and I'm like, hmm.
Oh, so what if you do that again though the next day? Do you come back up, or are you just is
Well,
it?
but then it's something. It doesn't tend to happen the same the next day. So
Mm,
because I don't always do the same thing, but then
it's
if I
because you
do
know
the
what's coming, don't you?
yes, you do. And also, it's like you said with you were doing your cartoons.
Yes.
The first one you do is so unprecious
Yeah.
because you have no idea how it's going to turn out. So you're just like, yeah, la la la, aren't you? Just doing it and think, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Then the next one, you know what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And so you're more rigid because you're not all loose and see what happens. It's like, I want to achieve that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's harder, isn't it?
And I've done. I think the reason mine have it's really strange as well because like you said, the first one I did was really scribbly, and it was based on a story my dad told me, and it was a
Yeah.
reaction drawing, and I wasn't really doing it for any reason other than to send text to my dad and say, "Look at this, I've drawn it," sort of
Yeah.
thing. And then he was like, "I love it," so I posted it, and then I decided to give her a character, and like you said, I'm suddenly trying to draw her,
Yes.
and I'm hoping over time she will get looser again, and I think she will. And but then I gave myself a task of making her an Instagram page, which she's going to post twice a day on. So suddenly there's that pressure
Twice a
as, oh,
day.
yeah, she's
Oh,
posting twice a
right.
day.
Yeah.
And so, um, yeah, what's happening is I'm thinking, oh my God, I haven't drawn. I've got what's she doing today, sort of thing. And then I'm thinking, oh, I've got to get it right because I've got to
Yes.
post it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm hoping, I mean, they don't take long, obviously, but I'm hoping I can get looser again as I
Yeah.
go and stop caring so much and just do it.
It's
You
not
know,
caring so much, I don't think, is it? It's the
no, stop worrying
not
about the
worrying
result
exactly.
so much.
Yes.
But you
Yeah.
were talking yesterday in your video about backgrounds, weren't you?
Yes.
And I don't know about well, I want you to talk about that in a sec, but what I was going to say was I was starting to put her in more of a context, and then I realized it didn't work.
Mm.
For some reason, it totally distracted from the story that was basically all you needed was her.
Yeah.
Every time I did her shopping, and then I did like a building next to her with sale written across it, and
Yeah.
suddenly I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'd photographed it before I added that. So, um,
What
but
about I was thinking about that, and I know we're not supposed to be talking about cartoons,
yeah, we're
but
definitely not talking about me, but
what about if you either did that black and white, so the background there's no colour on it whatsoever, or
yeah,
you use a grey. Remember that grey I
yeah,
had when we
yeah.
went? So try a grey.
Yeah, I did do the grey.
Oh, did you?
It just didn't
Oh,
work. But maybe black. Yeah, I don't know. But moving on to you,
yeah,
your drawings.
yeah,
I actually read because you in your video yesterday you said I'm not really too sure about the background. Funny
yeah,
enough, the two that you've done with the background, the one that's just behind you. No, no, yeah, that one, but the one on standing up against the board, leaning against the board. I
that one.
absolutely, yeah, I
Yeah,
love them both. And this one here,
yeah.
I love it because
Get in the middle.
it's made me ask questions about what is that then? Why has he got those things around him? And it makes you realize that there's something about that the artist has put in there. And it makes you're kind of thinking, well, why? And I love
Yeah,
that. I love art that makes you ask questions. But that is probably my favorite you've done so far.
this one.
I just love it.
Do you?
And also the one with the London skyline or whatever behind him.
That one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Shall I hold that
swap
up?
ears. Yeah, I really liked that as well. Is it the same guy?
No, but it's the same style because
Yeah,
in my video I was saying how I was going to try and do something similar to this
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Good, in the middle. But do it with Neocolors because that one was done in gouache.
yeah. I prefer the Neo color one, definitely, but I do love it. And do you know what I was thinking yesterday when I watched your video? Am
No.
I swaying? because just
No.
quickly, every time I watch our videos, I kind of
Mexican
like,
wave, look.
and I just realised actually I do move around. Sorry, I'm going to keep still. Last night when I was watching your video,
Yeah,
so it occurred to me, we always go on about portrait artist of the year, don't we?
yeah.
I thought, do you know what? You could do that in that style, and you'd
I,
get through.
well, I
Because
tried. I entered this year. Didn't tell you, but I did get through.
oh my God, why didn't you tell me that? I can't believe you didn't tell me that. Oh my God, Tara,
I
you do
just said
things
it on
like,
YouTube. No, I didn't get through.
yeah, but which one did you enter with?
Well, no, I entered with you had to do a self-portrait, which is where I fall down because I do not like drawing myself.
Yeah, but
Um,
why don't you try drawing yourself just with using you as a reference, but just detaching that it's not you? Because you don't,
I drew me in this. I did the orange style because it's before when I entered it. It was before all this stuff. It's before I
yeah,
did this.
I think you should
So,
enter again next year with this style. I do.
well, I think you enter as Felicity Fizz.
Everyone would have floppy boobs and knobbly knees.
Yeah, even the men.
Yeah, moobs. Oh God, everyone's going to be thinking, what are they on about?
Yeah.
You'll have to check out Felicity Fizz on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Follow her.
Yeah. Oh, she's not going to be an internet sensation anytime soon, I don't think.
Well, she may be.
You never know. So tell me what you've so basically this week, did you start off in that style, what you've been doing?
No, this week I started off with these, which I
Oh,
prepared.
I loved those too.
Basically, these were cutouts based on a
Yeah.
sketchbook course,
Yes. Yeah.
where you drew random things
Yeah.
and then chopped them out. So, for example, that's actually a face. His body is
Oh
actually,
God, you can see now.
yeah. But I just thought, if I turn that upside down, it'd make a body. But then
You
you
did
cut
one
them.
where a man's head was sticking out of a boot, which I loved as
Oh,
well.
I hated that one, so I
Oh,
didn't
I
bother putting
loved it.
it.
I absolutely loved that one. That
I
was
liked it
my
before I
favourite.
coloured it up, but I didn't like it once I coloured it up. And then this one, and these were so all these were separate bits.
Yeah.
But just I loved that, and I was actually this is on my list actually. I do want to try that again but it's very different. So you've got that very stark black and white. So on my list is there any way I could pull the two together?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Could I cut out? Trouble is, these Neocolour don't work well small. So
No,
trying to do
I can
because obviously
imagine.
they're quite a broad
'Cause
medium.
you're actually going straight in with the near colours with these, aren't you?
I'm drawing pencil first.
Oh, you are drawing because on the video last night I was thinking, crikey, she's really got this. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be able to do it without using at least a pencil guideline first, and I
Yeah,
didn't realise that you were doing that. So I was
yeah.
looking at it thinking, wow. I mean,
No, I
still
did.
wow, but
Yeah, I did pencil it.
yeah.
I didn't bother showing it because you can hardly see it on video. So
No.
I said if you actually listened to what I was saying,
Oh
you
no,
could
I
hear
have
me
to shut off whenever you speak.
you could hear me talking about that bit. But yeah, so I penciled it in
Well,
and
I
then I
can't
used.
remember every single thing you
You,
say.
you should do.
You do realise I'm watching you now on video every day.
Yeah, you love it, don't you?
I see you more than I see my husband.
You lucky person.
No, it's me doing that.
Uh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, what's been your favourite bit then? Because you've just said you love that one, you did, and then you love this other
Yeah,
one. Which bit's your favourite?
that's the trouble. I don't know. So
Oh,
I
right.
got a major buzz, especially at this one.
That I love. Is
I
that
got
brush pen you use for the big fat
which
line?
bit? Well, there's all sorts in here. So that's Neocolor,
Yeah.
that's marker, that's dip pen,
Oh
that's a brush
gosh.
pen.
Wow.
Because I was drawing all the separate bits,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in different things. But I do love that. The only pain in the arse with that was the chopping all the bits out because that's a bit tedious because you've got loads of bits and obviously you don't use half of them. So that
It's
was
it's interesting that you've literally just chosen to use red, and it works really, really well. Just having one colour and black and white works so well, and yet most of your stuff is very colourful, isn't it? With
yeah.
loads of colour. So it's interesting that you've gone almost from one extreme to the other, where you're
Yeah, well, I
using a
did
little.
try it, didn't I? I tried it on the one you liked, the boot one that I'd mentioned in full colour, and I didn't
Yeah,
like it.
no.
So that's why. But I also like this.
I like that too.
And I don't so much like this one, but I liked the idea behind this one, which was I suddenly thought, what about if the little character was her inner how she's feeling and she is her
Yeah.
outer? So the inner character is running around like an idiot, whereas she just outwardly looks really calm. That sort of thing.
Yeah. So there's a story kind of behind it.
Yeah.
You have to try and work out. That's not, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but that was the first one I did with those Inktense blocks,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah. And
absolutely
you
love
really
doing
like
that.
them.
Yeah,
I haven't tried those. So, but you did the guy you did last night with the, that was Neo Color, wasn't it?
that
That was
was near
Neo.
color. That was
Yeah.
near color. Yeah,
And that's very vibrant.
yeah.
So
It
what do you
that
prefer then, Neo Color or Inktense?
I don't know.
Are they very similar to work
No.
with? They're
Well, they're
completely different.
similar. They're similar from the point of view that they're blocks. So they're
Because
like
I've got the Inktense pencils.
yeah. And I never was wowed on the Inktense. I
No.
didn't mind them. So they were good for some things, but they weren't. It's quite a precise thing again, isn't it? It's not a big bold thing. Whereas I
Yeah.
like the Inktense. You've seen them, haven't you? The blocks.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can use them much more boldly. They're definitely not a detail thing, and I'm not a detail person anyway.
No.
So, but
No.
what? Yeah, so I like those, but they give much more of a watercolor effect. The only thing I was feeling with all of these, so much this one, was I wasn't sure if they were rich enough. That
Oh,
made sense.
oh yeah, I know what you mean.
So
Certainly
these,
the ones on the desk are, but no, I think they don't all have to be. He's great. I love the lines on him. I like the
but
black line work on him.
yeah, I almost felt like they were missing something, even
Yeah,
though I like them.
I do. But what I think is different about these two, particularly the one behind, yeah,
Which one?
particularly
That one?
that one, yeah, is that there's no black lines and character. There's no
No.
the black is missing from that one if you compare it to the others. That's what I mean.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
See what I mean? Normally you've got the
Yes.
black characters. I wonder if you added something to her. That's what's missing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I did try her
Almost look like
digitally.
unfinished. If I'm looking at that and thinking, oh, that's a Tara Roskell, I'd
Yeah.
be thinking, oh, she hasn't finished that one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It does. Yeah. But I did have a list of stuff that maybe I could try, which is so I'd got like cut out style but using like pre-done stuff like with
Yeah,
Inktense or near, but it depends. I might have to go really big then though to actually
yeah.
so I could do the big bits. And then maybe using that over collage or a background. I don't know what it worked like over that. And what else did I put? Sorry, I'm reading off the screen here. Oh, and I put, is there any other way of doing the cutouts without actually cutting them out?
Oh, because that looks so. I must admit, when I watched the video, I did think, crikey, that must be so tedious.
Yeah. And the
That
only
bit.
way I could think of doing it would be to photograph everything, which is still a bit tedious, and then digitally cut them out, put them together. And then I did wonder because someone said that you could very palely, if you did it very pale, you could run it through an inkjet to get a basic outline and then work over the top.
Yeah,
But then it takes away the bit of the spontaneity.
I think you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I don't
like there's some people online, um, and they do doodles like a bit like you, where they start with doodles, and then what they do is they put their doodles on the Photoshop, and
yeah.
they smooth out all the lines and they make them perfect. And I don't actually. I prefer the authenticity of a wonky line that has
Yeah.
little bumps and things. And I think that's what's nice because it adds character.
I would draw over the top though. I
Yeah,
wouldn't leave it as,
no,
but still,
but
it's
still
still,
it still takes away a bit of that, I
yeah, it
think.
does.
What about
So,
Stanley knife? Did you use scissors? What
well, I
about Stanley?
use a mixture of scissors and a scalpel.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm not very good with them particularly. But I did think of another way of possibly doing, I don't know how it worked, which would be to draw a few different bits, but cover them up. So you cover them up with paper and then you carry on drawing and cover it up. So
Yeah.
so it's potluck which one you pick up and you're drawing something on it. But then you can't really get composition so well then.
No, no.
So I don't know. But I
But
did
I,
like
I
that.
think you've grown again this week. I know that you've said a couple of times, oh, this week I feel really static or I've
Yeah.
moved backwards. And it's one of those things, isn't it? It's often the case. You start off it's like running a marathon, and you start off really fast and you start to
Yeah.
think, oh, and you slow down a bit, and then you get like, suddenly you get this momentum again, and it's a bit like that, isn't it, with when
Yeah.
you're trying new things. And actually, I really felt this week that you've sort of turned another corner.
Yeah, I did too. But
Even
it's
though I've
just,
always said you have had a style always, and you always have had a style, but I think that you are definitely um, owning it and pulling it all together, and it's
yeah.
getting better and better. It's getting more and more confident, I think.
Yeah, it's just which to go with, isn't it? Because I do like these faces. And I don't know if they sit together, all of them, or not. I don't know if they sit together as a whole, or because they're different, aren't they? Again. So, for example, the full on background versus the white.
You can absolutely see that that's the same artist.
Can you? They're
Absolutely,
close enough, you think they would
100%.
sit?
Yes, definitely.
But
Definitely.
but then, for example, you wouldn't necessarily see these were the same artist.
Pick one of the other ones up again. They still sit well together. I think you can. I think it's something to do with your line work. It's
What
something about
scruffy?
your lines. But I don't think it necessarily matters. You can have two things that you do. I mean, you can. You don't
Yeah,
have
I
to
just think
have.
they'd have to almost sit maybe separately.
Yeah, I mean, a lot
Yeah.
of artists do that.
It'd
If
almost
you
be
look
like
at
a
some,
Felicity Fizz. It'd be like that's that
well, yeah, if you think about it, on the one hand, I'm a
fluffy
painter.
boobs. Look, fluffy boobs like Felicity Fizz.
On the one hand, I'm a painter
Yeah.
who leans towards realism with oils, and on the other hand, I'm doing these scrappy, well, not scrappy, just little cartoons. But this is really interesting, and it's probably absolutely irrelevant to this video. Sorry, but I'm going to
So
quickly
what
say
we're
it while
used to
it's in
doing
my head.
that.
You know what? Because obviously, on my Instagram page, I'm not very good on Instagram on my painting page because of the way I paint. Um, it's a slow process, and I think I can't just keep saying, oh, here it is again, and this bit's done
Yes,
a
you
little bit,
can.
and it's like it's just constantly me squeezing paint out on the palette, and I think I'd rather post something when I've got something more interesting to say, so I might only post on that once or twice a week. But I don't know where I was going with this.
But with Felicity Fizz, you're producing 2 cartoons a day because they're quick to do, so you feel like you can produce plenty of content.
Well, no, yeah, that's right, because it's not me saying anything.
Yeah.
It's her. She's got something interesting to say. I haven't. I know what I was going to say. I know where I was going with this.
All right.
And originally, when I started drawing her, I thought, oh, well, I'll post her on my art page, my Instagram page, my painting one,
Yeah.
because that was
Yeah.
where I was. I thought I'll post her on there so that when I'm not doing my painting, when I'm not posting something about my painting, I'll put her on. So I put her on. And obviously, what I didn't really think of was people who follow me on Instagram are following me because they are wanting to see my paintings. So what happened is the day I posted Felicity, no, within 2 days of posting Felicity, I lost 4 followers. I was like, oh, they really like her. I thought
Oh,
I'd
they
move
did
on.
like her, just a different set of people would like her.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
but it was like my followers were thinking, oh, what's she doing now? Look, this is not what I want to see.
Yeah.
Quite right. They
Yeah.
don't want to see that stuff. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to put her on a separate Instagram page. So I've got a page for her where I can just have my fun and she can do what she wants. And my painting just stays my painting. So maybe that's what I'm getting at
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
is got two separate things going on. One's just a bit fun and the other is what I take seriously. You have got two things going on. There's nothing to say you can't have two serious things going on, but just keep them a bit separate.
Yeah. And I might do that, but I need to know
What
if
they are.
I want those 2 things to be my
Yeah.
things, if you know what I mean. So,
I
but
was interested.
I wish I could think of a way of doing this without cutting them up. If anyone's got any suggestions, love to know
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Put in the
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah.
The backgrounds you were
Yeah.
talking about, like, you
Mhm.
weren't sure about those. Are you going to carry on doing things like that?
Don't know. The only thing was thinking, and this was another idea, was could I somehow, and this is might be completely over the top and hideous, would be to do a load of black and white drawings, weird like this,
Yeah.
and then somehow put a colourful face over the top.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'd be interesting. Just
But it'd be
try it.
interesting to try even if these, I mean, they'd probably still be collage and the face would actually be collaged and stuck on as well. And I might even have to get some white gesso or something,
Yeah.
knock bits
Yeah.
back or something. But that was another thought because I kind of like that scattered and weird look, but I don't know.
I still think next year you should definitely apply for Portrait Artist of the Year. Practice with Kevin. You can draw me.
Oh, God.
Give me a big wonky eye.
Well, you love having your photo taken, so you can do.
I
Don't you love it?
I hate having my photo taken. Oh my God. No, I definitely don't.
Yeah, but that is the only problem. I wish they didn't make you draw yourself. If you could draw somebody else, it'd be so much better. I can pretend because they won't know who you are.
No.
Oh no, they do make you send a photo.
This is my sidekick.
Yeah, no, I'm your sidekick.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So what are the plans for next week then? Next week? What are the plans? Are you got what things are on your list and what things are you just
plans are those things I said with the maybe trying the cutout style again. Maybe try drawing some of these over backgrounds. Maybe just trying some straight. Today, I'm probably just going to do another straight one of these. What do you think this would look like with a background? Awful.
I personally wouldn't.
No.
Oh, well, yes, you could, but not all the way around her. You could do things in the background like you did with the hangers and the...
Oh, I just meant colour, really. No.
See, I don't know. It's hard for me to tell because I don't have your visions like that, but I kind of like her as she is. I'm worried she might get lost. If I do a background, I think it would have to be a complete opposite colour so that she really shines out, like an orange or something like that, something to completely...
Or a grey, even just grey line work or something.
Something.
But if you put a black mount or a darker mount anyway, that would probably make a pop, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you don't want her to be lost in colour. There was something else I was going to ask you as well. Yeah, that's right. So I feel like you have finally decided...
God, you sound like a therapist. I feel like... That's how you make you start
lie
stuff,
down on the sofa.
I'd love to. Thank you.
On the couch. I was going to say that I think that you have settled on a medium that you really like, albeit that intense blocks which you really like and neo color pastels, but you've stopped that fight with yourself. Oh, do I use watercolor gouache? What should I use? I feel that part of you settled. So in a way,
I do quite like the markers and the black pen and the dip pen.
but that's part of it. But you're not doing gouache, watercolor, acrylics, and all this stuff. You have at least narrowed down. And these are the materials I like. I like pen. I like neocolor. I like intense blocks.
Yeah.
So that's actually a great big step forward, I think, because then you can think. It's like me. I don't paint in watercolor. I love watercolor. I don't paint with it. I paint with oils, and I settled on that, and that's fine.
Yeah, and you know that you're doing a still life, don't you?
Yeah. And I feel like I never feel like, oh, I really want to try gouache now, or I don't know, acrylics, because I've done that. I've tried all of those things, and I like oil. And I think you've got to that stage now where you're like, I know what medium suits me, or mediums suit me. So that's good. That's great. So I wonder whether what we're going to come up with next week, whether it's going to be like, oh, I've stepped backwards again,
Probably.
or a giant leap forwards. Yeah.
Who
Anyway,
knows?
well done for this week.
Thank you.
We will see you on Friday. Catch up on Friday and see what you've been up to.
See you on Friday. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get updates on what's happening with the Find Your Art Style experiment. We also create a video every Sunday called Art Kick Sunday, so make sure you check out that playlist too.